Do you ever feel like the more that something is explained to you, the less you end up understanding it? I'm working through this PMI, CAPM preparation course, and I came to the definition of what a stakeholder is. Yeah, so here is what the PMI defines the stakeholder to be. A stakeholder is an individual, group, or organization that may be affected, may be affected by, or perceive itself to be affected by the decision, activity, or outcome of a project, program, or portfolio. That could mean that like anyone is a stakeholder, but that can't be an acceptable answer on the actual exam. I don't think so. I'm gonna look a little bit more into this and find out who a stakeholder actually can be. So the person that is, or group that is most commonly associated with being a stakeholder is the client. And the client is the person who is ordering a project to be performed, or like a product to be created. It's the people who are saying, we need this thing, we want your company to make it for us. That's the client. That's a key stakeholder. A designer or a design team could be a stakeholder, or I should say is a stakeholder, which I thought was pretty obvious. But if you listen to this, somebody's coming down the stairs. 1 second. My daughters had to give me the update on the Bears-Packer game score. I think everybody in my family knows that I don't care. Whatever, she's excited about it, it's cool. 2026 wildcard game. Packers 21, Bears 3, in case anybody's interested. What was I talking about? Contractors are stakeholders. A contractor is a person, or like a group of people, an organization that's hired by a project manager or by the company that is creating the product. They're going to want to make sure that their own business goals align with those of the project that they are going to help complete. The government can actually be considered a stakeholder. Think of like public officials or government officials, and they have to enforce certain rules and regulations, particularly in like public works or like construction development. You can, definitely consider government officials to be stakeholders in your project. And you are a stakeholder. Yes, wonderful you. Like, duh, it's your project. If you're a project manager, you're going to want your project to turn out well. You keep your job, you get more advanced work to work on in the future. Like, if this is what you're working on, of course you want it to turn out well. You're a stakeholder. Congratulations, you're a stakeholder. But these are all examples of who might be a stakeholder. As a project manager, you're going to want to know who all the stakeholders are, and then like evaluate them on who is the most important, because you're going to want to focus in on that the core selection of stakeholders that are like going to be most affected by the project. Outside of the core, you'll have people who are like directly affected by it but aren't necessarily part of those core members. And then outside of that are the groups or individuals who are indirectly affected by it. They're all people that you want to consider, but again, that core is going to be your main focus. So who is in that core? That core group of people that you're going to want to focus on most are going to be, the project manager, you're part of the core. Then there's also the project team, the people who are actually making the product or developing the project or service. And then the project sponsor, that's another one. The project sponsor, who is like the person who officially gave the final okay to work on this project, and is also like accountable for it. Just outside of that core group of people that you need to focus on is going to be those that are directly affected by the project. This is also called like the internal layer. A lot of these people are going to be inside your company. So like C-level employees, the PMO, or the project management office, and then also the steering committee, who are the people who can like decide if we're going to continue the project at certain phases, or if we're going to say, this isn't working out, we're going to cancel the project. And then on the outermost layer is the people who are indirectly affected by your project. It could also be considered the external groups. They're typically people outside of your organization. Doesn't necessarily have to be. This will often be people like a supplier, or a customer, an end user, or even the government. At a very high level, the important things to remember about stakeholders is that they can have different levels of interest, influence, power, and even relevance. Their role in the project can be inactive, active, or even neutral. Some stakeholders aren't going to like your project. Other people are going to be all for it. And you need to use different tools to keep track of who each individual is, or where they stand on your project, and how often they need to be kept informed about what's going on. When do they need a status update? There's a number of different artifacts that you can create to manage stakeholders. But I'm feeling like this video is like a little bit rambly already. And also there's like a ton of hoots and hollers going on upstairs right above me, kind of making it hard to film. I assume that means that the Packers are doing well. Maybe they're getting hurt upstairs. I don't know what's happening. I'm going to call it a day today. I'm going to find out more about stakeholders and how to keep track of them and report back to you in a little while. See you next time. Goodness gracious, they're going to town up there.